Good afternoon. I'll briefly go through the next generation wireless technology for digital economy, because now we all are starting transformation our businesses and business models to meet our survivability in like coming economic paradigm. And my agenda is this. So basically we have identified few global trends as operator, that is OTT, then big data, then the payments, IoT and machine-to-machine communication, the mobile advertising, and cloud computing. These technologies will be disruptive technologies where we need, which pumps lot of data into the internet and lot of capacity demands for the access especially. And wireless technologies will play a key role in connecting subscribers or machines or devices into the network for their applications. Now, prevailing economy is being transformed to digital economy. In the digital economy, we won't see conventional stuff to sell. So most of the shoppers will do AR, VR based shopping. And basically now we see that digitalization depletes the gap between service creation and consumption, leading to end-to-end transformation of structure and the dynamics of the business model. Because in this transformation, it would be kind of a revolution, it would take kind of a revolutionary path as well as an evolutionary path. That means present technologies will be evolved or new technologies will come into play which we have not thought of. In this particular transformation, wireless is one of the largest digital carrier of data. So that is the market trend. So we see wireless technologies is an important part of in the transformation. We can envisage global wireless market in 2020. The annual IP traffic would reach 2.3 zettabyte in 2020. That is very important for us as an operator because now we provide a lot of IP transit services, then transport services, as well as interconnection and terminations. Then the beauty of this value is that 2/3 of IP traffic would be from wireless and mobile. 2/3. So that we have to play a bigger role there. The smartphone traffic would exit PC traffic. That means nomadic and mobile use cases would bring much more traffic into the internet. 2.87 billion people would be using smartphones. It's a phenomenal growth. And estimated speed would range from 3.5 gigabits per second to 10 gigabits per second, enabling lot of low latency, delay sensitive applications to be used on the go. So why do we need wireless access? It catalysts to digitalization and customer in terms of rich personalized user experience with companion smart devices with context awareness, especially with the IoT. We can achieve this particular context awareness because whatever the surrounding environment can be sensed and act upon it through IoT technologies, where you use a lot of low power devices with very smaller bandwidth at a higher range. The higher mobile computational power for general purpose applications will be available on the smartphones as well as on the platforms. Now we see even in our normal mobile handsets, we have multiple radio access technologies available as of today, and it provides you ubiquitous coverage and capacity capabilities. Also, there's a severe demand in security, as these devices are ubiquitously used, and return on investment would be very high in the wireless market than the fixed. Also, with the I think a lot of people now talk about virtualization. Now, applicability in virtualization on unknown use cases would be much important here, because we don't know what's going to happen, but still we have the component to create the value chain so that it caters the need in future. So now you can see now in a country, we have different customer segments based on the customer density, where we have rural areas, then the suburban areas and urban areas, as well as dense urban areas. And we can categorize them into ARPU based, where we focus our business towards these areas based on ARPU focus. So if you take the basic mobile broadband layer, that is 3G, 4G and beyond, serves the pervasive coverage covering the whole area, but it is for the survivability. Sometimes you may take only a voice call, lower speed data, and lower ARPU. But then it comes to home broadband or fixed broadband layer, it's golden capacity, where you get higher ARPU than basic mobile broadband layer. So when you focus your investment, basically you have to focus, when you are selecting the technology, you have to focus based on the yield from the market. And it will cater, it does not cater rural areas, but it caters from suburban to dense urban, especially DSL and wireless to the home. That means TDD-based LTE, for an example. So ultra-fast broadband layer, that is FTTH, it's the ultimate experience which enables high-definition television, like high user experience applications, where you get higher ARPU also in a very limited area. But now you can see the lower ARPU area, where you provide pervasive coverage, and the home fixed broadband layer, both will be dominated by wireless technologies. The blanket coverage for a country can be given at a very lower cost, but at a very lower data throughput with prevailing 3G and 4G technologies. But I'll come to that later, because there are certain challenges still with 4G coverage, even with the fixed broadband. The wireless offers the most economical and ubiquitous solution for connecting everyone and everything. So now we all know that this standard slide, the first generation overlay access on CS, second generation parallel, you had packet core as well as circuit switching core, and third generation again parallel but all IP core, and fourth generation packet access only. In the fifth generation, now we have multi-RAN with a single core anchoring all the access technologies. So the people says and the experts says that 5th generation would anchor all the existing technologies, and it would be a bottom to top design. And by 2020, only a single high-speed AI interface be enabled. These are the prevailing wireless access technologies as far as our country is concerned: FDD, LT, TDD, LT, and WiMAX. Especially WiMAX serves certain important requirements, especially when it comes to QoS aware data services, especially in layer 2 services. I think if we are to provide layer 2 services, it's little hard to provide layer 2 services on LTE. Now, capacity progression of LTE, and now at least one multi-gigabit network is available in the world. Now there are 194 Cat4, 150 Mbps networks are available. Then Cat6, 163 networks are available. Cat9, only 41. The most important part is now multi-megabit wireless commercial deployments. At least a single deployment is available. Basically, now we have predictions on 2020, what would happen in 2020. Now we must see whether the 2020 expectations are realistic now. But we see, now we have done some amount of POCs, and so that we know that now for the coverage, of course, the current beamforming technologies provide enough proof for us to reach the expected capacities. Then again, massive MIMO, it again provides capacity, and beamforming provides coverage. Then also with massive MIMO, the channel hardening and channel reciprocity provides the required reduced latency requirement, because channel hardening avoids or minimize latency in calculation of the baseband calculations, and channel reciprocity, especially in TDD networks, provide channel estimation, minimize channel estimation requirements. Also now, we have, though the LTE with advanced technology, we can purchase LTE handset at an affordable price. The very reason is that the complexity of the receiver is very low. That is due to pre-coding technologies applied on the LTE layer. And now we see the existing spectrum with the present regulation is highly fragmented, so that carrier aggregation technologies are available, so that at least each operator will have 100 megahertz spectrum available for them to survive in the market by 2020. For that, it is underpinned by carrier aggregation and comp-like technologies to aggregate and improve the throughput at the uplink and minimize the dependency on coordination over X2 interfaces, where it meets the requirement of low latency of the low latency requirements of the applications. Then EIC, that means interference cancellation mechanisms are available, which provides you higher capacity over a single frequency network. Also, this particular technology, LTE, as of today, provide quality of service at bearer level. That means one application can have multiple quality of service based bearers. Let's say for a, when you run your VoLTE session, still the same application can run instant messaging on a different QCI level. Also, now we have almost all the deployments as of today are distributed RAN, where the base station on the cell site comprises with all the processing required for the base station. But in cloud RAN, it has certain functions kept in central as well as certain functions kept at the radio resource unit or the distributed units. Now, evolve multimedia broadcast multicast services. Of course, now we know that IPTV is well working on guided like FTTH and ADSL, but it's still difficult to deliver IPTV in good quality for large form factor devices due to bandwidth limitations, especially on multicast. Now VoLTE is there, which ensures PSTN quality voice over wireless channels. Also, providing layer 2 and layer 3 services are challenging, even though LTE is completely designed for data access due to certain limitations on the protocol stack. Now, network function virtualization based cores, especially virtual IMS, virtual SBCs, virtual PCRF-like components of the core is now readily available for commercial hypervisors. It's a kind of a debate whether we should go for a full cloud solution, as the workloads are known, size of the workloads are known for telco workloads. Still, there are certain part of the telco workloads which needs elastic behavior to cater the elastic behavior based on the demand. Of course, SDN, software-defined networking, it's not yet matured, but it's good enough to handle enterprise-level networking requirements, but not at the carrier-level requirements, where you need terabit-level backplanes. And also, policy and charging controls, which is required for controlling the charging and the charging behavior and the networking behavior of the network is well defined, and it is already adapted, and those solutions are well matured to handle wireless bearers and map the requirements in the core to wireless bearers. And also, I think almost all the operators are, telco operators are well matured with number 7 signaling, but number 7 signaling is gradually moving out. Instead, now we are using diameter protocol, and with the diameter, we need a lot of infrastructure requirement in order to simplify the requirement and the topology. Now we are using diameter routing agents and diameter edge agents, and these are available. That means now all the required elements to energize and build the network, the wireless network required for 2020 is readily available today and needs certain rearrangements and advancement in time to come. Also, now I told that 2.3 zettabytes of traffic is required in the IP backbones, that now supporting carrier technologies are available. The industry. So these are the next generation requirements. So basically enhanced mobile broadband is required. Also the ultra reliable low latency communication, that means sub-millisecond requirement is there. And massive machine type communication requirement is also there. This requirement needs to be catered. So this is extracted from NGMN document, and you can see that end-to-end network can be virtualized and sliced. And this slicing and virtualization function can be orchestrated and managed. And it has to be done vertically across all the layers, so that you can create services as and when required from access to core to application level, even in on-demand fashion. So virtualization provides you the required infrastructure and the component and the agility for program the network functions, especially the network slicing, which enables you to have different network arrangements on the same infrastructure. So you can see from the even the mobile handset or the what you call your smartphone can be sliced, then the access network can be sliced and the core can be sliced, so that different slice will serve different user requirement. Actually, I have discussed this earlier, but now you can see the functional distribution can be made accordingly depending on the functional requirement of each and every network slice. So that with the low latency requirement, you can push certain throughput related functions to the edge of the wireless network. This particular multi-RAN support of 5G will cater fixed broadband access network, Wi-Fi access networks, and capacity will be enhanced through the deployment of small cells. So when it comes to core network, this particular core will support 3GPP access as well as non-3GPP access like Wi-Fi, as well as fixed access and dynamic selection and attachment of user plane and control plane termination at core based on location, mobility, and service requirement would be enabled, so that the application can be written, the network services will be provided accordingly to meet the traffic profiles of the demand of the application. ESGI LAN, where in normal network we have IMS and web servers or ISP services sits on. So those functions would be run on VNFs, and VNF-based application functions would be like IMS and SBCs. So fixed mobile convergence would happen in this ecosystem. Okay. Here you have some slides for spectrum resources utilization, which would be necessary for this next generation wireless to wireless requirements to happen. I will rush through this and possible national landscape, because now our country has need to have certain stuff so that the 5G deployments would be possible as a nation, which enables us doing this smoothly. So kind of producing harmonized national broadband plan encompassing 5G, which details activities and timeframes, creating a spectrum roadmap, which is unavailable as of today, and supporting exclusive long-term 5G mobile license with a predictable renewable process, and ensuring all mobile licenses that are technology agnostic, avoiding artificially high 5G spectrum prices so that supply won't invest, the operators won't invest on these technologies due to low yield. So I have listed out certain prevailing challenges for the industry, especially diminishing yield due to competition, and then the EMBMS support, because still this the high quality video delivery is not well supported on mobile technologies. The corporate challenges would be strategizing the virtualization and cloudification to address wireless use cases. Now, there are a lot of unknowns, even for us to go and grab virtualization here and there. So you should have a clear roadmap to do that. Otherwise, the investment-wise, it's not small, and there's a huge risk associated with it. The network level challenges are the identification of clear access network roadmap, because now we have already invested networks, so that we have to identify which strategy is to be used and which roadmap is to be taken, and which best architectural options should be selected to successful in the business. Apart from that, the multi-access user profiles, where users are roaming from one profile to other, and the cost disparity on different access technologies, even though he is roaming over those profiles, and the upgrades and update cost on each access technologies with respect to their supplier strategies has to be faced, those challenges. Apart from that, the vendor locking and investment protection is another key area to be addressed. From the customer's aspects, the availability of access technologies, because different technologies would be available, so that they have to run quicker replenishment cycle on their handheld devices, and market-driven reachability. Even in developed countries, certain remote areas are not covered by mobile broadband. The application security and feature enhancements needed to facilitate their functions. I think that's all for my presentation. Basically, today there are nice stories on wireless journey and 5G technologies, but the challenge is to realize it on ground and making money out of it, so that wireless technology should be helpful for the society and should deliver values. Also, it should energize the digital economy and the business models there at large. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thanks very much, Tushara. Now, do you have any questions for Tushara, if any one of you? Any questions? Comments? Yes.
Regarding the access speeds that are coming with 5G, like some of the latest reports say that like Huawei and NTT Docomo actually have recently demonstrated on a moving platforms, you can actually have more than 1 Gbps speeds. Let's say the 5G comes to Sri Lanka. What are we really going to do with that 1 Gbps?
Of course, now that is the problem. You might have 1 Gbps, and that's why I told the use cases would be evolutionary and revolutionary. We don't know what happens, but the network should be available for them to use, because when it comes to 1 Gbps, it's not only the capacity, but it reduces the end-to-end latency as well. because the serialization delay plays a major role apart from the network utilization.
Yeah, my question is, Sri Lanka being an island country, and we rely on the international bandwidth so much, paying so much for that bandwidth. So providing 1 Gbps to the end consumer device is meaningless if you cannot actually go outside all the way up to the international bandwidth to get 1 Gbps. But what preparations or what are the plans of service providers to make use of the speed and provide what you say as energizing the digital economy, or what are the service provider like plans, or what is in the roadmap to provide? Because consumers need to get some idea. Okay, the 5G is coming, so there's a lot of hype about, okay, 5G is coming. Okay, what are we going to do with 5G? So that unless the service provider takes the initiative and push that, I don't think that consumer will have they will be clueless. Just like 4G is not really catching up in Sri Lanka, there's nothing much to do with 4G. What are we going to do with 5G? So we can say we are the first in Asia or South Asia to launch 5G, but that is meaningless in my opinion.
That's true. Actually, from fixed operator side, now from the infrastructure side, of course, now technically we can ready everything, right? You have the most difficult stuff is creating applications to run on 5G. So that I think most of the operators are going ahead with different techniques to make their platforms available for external parties to build their applications on top of their infrastructure. Let's say through API gateways, or like if you have let's say data centers, if you have applications so that you can expose your applications towards general community or API gateway so that people will build applications. But especially when it comes to higher speeds, the higher speed means you should have applications, especially autonomous vehicle like, so that, or health applications where you need stringent latency requirement. So basically, I have seen that with BMW now they have done certain sensor-based autonomous vehicle kind of a demonstration in certain areas, but it's ahead. Actually now INT 2020 is also not yet finalized from the ITU. So that's why I told now for unknown use cases, of course now we can ready the network. We don't know what the use case is, but there can be certain disruptive technologies coming or disruptive applications coming, but envisaging that it would happen, now we are moving ahead.
Okay, thanks very much for all that good presentations. And
Thanks.
yeah, so we will, oh sorry.
So in my perspective, to answer to your question, even 4G is not enough for me in a practical view. Let me tell you an example. I have 4 cameras in my home. I'm monitoring through my phone. Apart from that, I'm tracking my wife's vehicle, how much the fuel consumption, where she has been located, how far is driving. All those are monitored through my mobile phone. Now I'm expecting the 5G as soon as possible to come in, to trace my daughter also. She has a phone, or she has a webcam in the phone that will trace my images of the walking areas of my daughter. And I'm eagerly waiting for the 5G. I think if you are, it's up to the user end that how much the application, how much they are using or how much they are tracing out. Even to connect my data center or video traffic, what are the monitoring purpose. 4G is, for the video traffic, especially for the video traffic, to monitor your house, entire house, with the sensors of temperature and the video camera especially. That's eagerly I'm waiting for the 5G to be launched. So that depends on the end user requirement and the usability of the LTE coverage in Sri Lanka. But we are rolling out towards Sri Lanka, but we have seen the trend that Sri Lankan mobile users are mostly using the LTE coverage. now especially they are purchasing the devices to use the LTE, that we can trace that also. So the trend is moving up. So we believe that within next couple of years, people will fully utilize the LTE, and also we will fully give the coverage, LTE coverage all over the Sri Lanka. But even if you take the north-south, northeast, but they are massively using the LTE, maybe for their video calls, Vibes, or Skype, Viber, WhatsApp. So it's all depend on the end user usage. But we expect that with the launch of 5G in coming future, that will be utilized. But we will recover the ROI or whatever the expenses that we made, the capex, sooner we will recover. So even it's all driven even with the emerging of IoT devices. If you take for example, there are many use cases, and the R&D developments are going on for the use cases for the IoT devices. So all the traffic surveillance in future, I think most probably the government sector is focusing on to survive the surveillance cameras, fixing up the surveillance cameras, but still they have a couple of cameras in the junction, major junction, like PETA, bus stands, and those things will be converted to traffic police, and they will be monitoring the traffic rules also towards this LTE coverage. So it's emerging up in Sri Lanka, and we believe that LTE coverage will be more useful to the government sector as well as for the end users.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback and the comments. So I think let's invite actually Dr. Ajit Pascal to give the plaque to our speaker, Tushara Jayawardena. And Dr. Ajit has been a great supporter of LKNOG, in fact, our principal sponsor. So, yes. Okay, thank you very much. We have done a little change to our schedule because we want to, we don't want to stay for that long, right? Otherwise, the session will go a bit longer. So we only have 2 more presentations. So we will try to finish those quickly as possible, and then we take the tea break and we finish it off there, right? So let us, and there are 2 very important presentations as well. I hope that you can listen to those important presentations. So let me now call Srimal. So Srimal Rajapaksha, so he's going to talk about IoT. So Srimal has been, currently now he works for DTech, and previously he has also been with Dialog and also with Metropolitan. So he has done lots of enterprise level projects and so on. So he's going to focus more on to the IoT. Yeah, thanks Srimal, over to you.
Right.
Thank you, Champika. I hope you all are ready for this session as well. Can I ask you a question? How many of you are excited about augmented reality? Well, while you all are excited about it, do you know that 95% of the world population is still within the 2G network? Let's say if we can connect all these things together. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Internet of Things. Here I am, Srimal Rajapaksa. So, though I am Rajapaksa, I have no any affiliation to the previous government, just for information. Quickly we'll talk about evolution, IoT definition, then growth of IoT, what factors will contribute to this growth, then connectivity technologies, then the opportunities and the common issues, then compelling benefits, challenges, and finally policy consideration. Evolution. So as we know, initially internet has came like only connecting to the PC. Like we had to stay in a particular place, so we have to go to the cafe or somewhere. So then again, it has came to a point like where mobile is concerned. Now it is coming to connecting everything, which is Internet of Things. So let's see how IEEE described as IoT. A network of items which are connected to the internet, each embedded with sensors. Very simple. So when we think about the growth of IoT, you can see the slide. By 2020, it will be a 50 billion devices will be connected to the internet. So just imagine. So we are edge of 2017. We are very closer. We are coming there. So if we think like the population, world population by 2020, it's 7.6 billion. Just imagine, like 7.6 billion people, 50 billion devices will be connected. Averagely, 6 devices per person will be connected to the internet. What factors contribute in this growth? Reduction in the cost of computing, including sensors. Then again, growth in mobile and expansion of network connectivity, and also the bandwidth cost also, like it's affordable. Then rise of software development. You know, like if somebody open up a small cafe, they really develop a small app and they want to do their business through that. So it has came to that level. Then again, the most important thing is standardized about the low power wireless technologies. IoT architecture, if we go through, like it's defined as a 4-stage architecture. Devices like mainly sensors and actuators, then again network and gateway, it aggregates the IoT traffic and then the protocol conversion. When it comes to the common application, basically security and configuration, what is the most important stage is application, where we can earn big bucks. You know, smart home, smart cities, smart buildings, smart healthcare, smart transportation, smart education, and plus more. Let's see how the connectivity technologies. Today, everybody here, technical people, so I will simply go through it. The proximity area, basically RFID and NFC will connect in this range. Maximum it will go to 10 meters. Then when it comes to the wireless personal area network, where most of the like smart home and smart building application works under these technologies, like it can go up to 100 meters. Zigbee, C-Wave, wireless HART, and even 433. So as Dr. Gyan says, like we'll discuss later on about how about the security perspective, because you know some of the Zigbee protocol that used for the IoT devices, we already tested with partner with one of the ISP here. It is a hackable, so you can see what is going on in the next door. So that is another point, so we have to discuss that thing later separately. So then when it comes to the wireless neighborhood area network, it can go up to 10 kilometers. Then the operator perspective, 2G, 3G, 4G, even 5G. So it can go up to 100 kilometers. Opportunities. Is this opportunities? Actually, these are the common issues that we are facing in the third world countries, right? Lack of infrastructure management, frequent natural disasters, then shortage of power, environmental issues, poor health facilities, outdated process of use in agriculture, outdated education facilities, lack of utility management. How we can change this into the opportunity? That is where the IoT can help. Think out of the box. So where we can change this into smart? Because I know some of the school in Sri Lanka already already started smart classroom. Then even like when you come to the outdated agriculture, so like countries like Bangladesh, they already gone into this area. So before 4-5 years back, so they were behind us. Now the government already invested for that area. So if there's an issue, like common issue, so we can think smartly how can change it to opportunity. So we'll discuss some of the application, how can do that. Like smart utility management. We can focus on areas, smart grid automation and flexible distribution, then smart metering and demand response analytics, then storm water management for monitoring, flood monitoring, then smart home. I hope everybody had this bad experience, like when you go home, like let's say Friday or even someday you forget to switch it off your AC. So when you are coming on the following day, it's on still. So you can use smart home technologies. You don't need to worry about what is going on in the office or even the home. You can just click one button and you can control through your smartphone. Even like when it's come to the like fridge or even the iron, you can use these scenarios. Only you can create, like let's say, I know that some of the people like weekend they get up, around 9-10 a.m. so still your veranda bulb is on. Just you can create a holiday mode scenario, just schedule it, then leave it. So it works automatically. So it has came up to that level. So smart cities. So if we can change the home into smart, the building into smart, then education to smart, agriculture, transportation, eventually it's a smart city. Then again we can focus on the other areas like smart parking, traffic management, smart lighting, waste management, and those areas also. With all of these issues, I hope we are still here, but where we want to go with IoT. So let's see one of the video that there's nothing is about IoT but how they think smartly to do a change to save energy and save money.
South Korea, a country devoid of oil. Seoul, a city where 1/4 of Koreans live, with one of the world's highest gasoline consumption. The situation is getting worse. Car usage is increasing. Petroleum costs are rising. Parking spaces are scarce. People are stressed out. Every day, a Seoul driver wanders 500 meters to find a parking space. In a month, this equals 15 kilometers or 1 liter of gas. S-Oil, one of the 4 oil companies in Korea, took action. It is on a mission to save oil. Right here, right now. Thus begins the HERE campaign. It has set up a HERE balloon for each parking space. As a car parks in it, the balloon falls. When the car exits, the balloon rises. Cars can spot these balloons from afar. They can spot open parking spaces without wandering. Finding quick parking means saving oil. One easily spotted parking spot is worth 1 liter of oil saved.
교육하실 때 엄마들은 한 저것만큼 경제적인 게 없다고 봐요.
딱 이정표가 있으니까 참 뭐 좋은 아이디어 같아요.
주차장에서 풍선 달니까 신기했어요.
풍선 없었으면 못 들어오는 거죠. 진짜.
HERE balloons have saved drivers' gas expenses through a new and interesting method. S-Oil, the oil seller, gained the impression of an oil-saving company. Save oil, save time, save money. HERE, taking action for a better world. Save oil, save Earth. S-Oil.
Now, even farmers can monitor their cows, their movement, their health, even the milk productivity, because each cow is connected with sensors. So nowadays we are discussing with how we can integrate the shoes. Even then parents can monitor their kids very soon. So, but you know, like our kids are very smarter than the technologies. They can remove their shoes and go wherever they want, but we are coming to that level very soon. That's why even the former Cisco CEO also stated that Internet of Everything will be 5 to 10 times more impactful than the whole Internet has been today. Compelling benefits. So we already discussed some of this. The cost saving, including smart meters, then energy, improved asset utilization. You can track your cows, you can track your supply chain, efficient process, real-time data monitor, then improved productivity. Overcoming challenges. So you know that every ISP talk about IoT. Networking vendors talk about IoT, system integrators talk about IoT, but where we are lacking at? Identify the potential of IoT. I hope today everybody use smartphone, right? But you know the adoption rate for smartphone still 75%. When it comes to the smart home, it is still 5%. Look at the market, look at the potential. Like the business perspective, we can grab that market. Then when it comes to again like smart parking, research say around $41 billion US market for smart parking. Then when it comes to healthcare, retail, so we have to identify that potential. Then develop the data management capabilities. Then again develop analytic capabilities. To do this, we need to recruit talent people who can manage IoT. To do that, we have to get help from specialists. Then policy consideration. As today, some of the areas they already discussed, like data localization and regulations for cloud-based servers and all these things. I remember a story like when I was preparing RFP for one of the government hospital, like we propose a cloud-based solution. What happened was, they demanding that, like as they discussed like previously, they demanding like the patient information will go to the cloud. But in their concern, but we cannot convince them, because you know that patient information also very sensitive, you know. Like people stealing patient information and selling it for millions of dollars to the pharmaceutical companies. So that's why the data localization and regulation policies also we need to consider. Then when it comes to the regulatory consideration, you know, we know that it's already there, the TRC is there, but when we are trying to bring down the equipment like let's say wireless or voice, it's a headache, no? We have to go to TRC, then get the approval, then go to the defense, get that, then go to the import control, then only you can go to the custom. So there is a process, but the process is there. What we are lacking at is the coordination mechanism. So we have to have that coordination mechanism. As Dr. Gihan said, like we can initiate these issues, then only they can focus on this. Like this LKNOG and even next SANOCO, even so many events coming, so we'll discuss this and we can initiate all of these issues. Then lack of investment. Like to encourage for the investment, government can incentive for investment. And government can initiate like industries like agriculture, like an organization or private sector, we cannot go into that level. Government can initiate those industries. Then lack of talent related to IoT. What we can do is, we can partnership with developed countries. We can create their test beds here. So we have another opportunities like the developing devices, then again the applications, we can come to that level. Then again, we know that learn and all of this, any event, so we already connected with the universities. So we can align with the university technical people and we can develop those issues. So finally, I would say, don't get me wrong, what I mean is, welcome to future. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Srimal. Are there any questions for Srimal? Yes, Siam.
Yeah, we all talk about IoT and EOT, whatever you are saying, but how many companies do you think they are really considering about security inside the IoT devices?
Yeah,
because it's a small device, but I don't know how they're going to integrate it.
Yeah, exactly, because at the moment, so we actually do testing with, just to tell you even, because here with all the operators, so we are collaborating with, we are together with Dialog, we are testing, because we have got some of the equipment through eBay, even most of the protocol that use Zigbee protocol, it's a hackable one, but when it's come to the 433, still not. So that need to be considered, because like people talk about IoT, they are bringing down the equipment like through eBay, it's cheaper, they can connect to the device door, even the bedroom, they can sensor, so they don't know the security. But to tell you, we are lacking at the security in that level. So for that, I can recommend you like to go with the product that can come with the operators, like let's say SLT, even Dialog, they are not bringing down the equipment like just to sell it. So they do all the testing. So rather than, going to the shop and buying things, like if you're really concerned about the security, but otherwise you can find a very cheap equipment and you can plug even yourself.
Okay, any other questions? And also, actually, he was talking about the Zigbee, but also there is also one other important protocol that is actually a 6-LoWPAN. You didn't touch much about that, but 6-LoWPAN is that's based on IPv6. That's also why we should be focusing more on IPv6 as well. So there are many of the IoT protocols can come in the future as well based on V6. So any other comments, questions? Okay, if not, thanks very much, Srimal, and give him a big hand. Okay, now our next speaker, which is in fact the last speaker as well for the day. So we kept the best for the last, right? So that's Pubudu. So Pubudu is from APNIC, and so he's going to talk about what APNIC is doing, and also lots of important updates, especially for operators here, because I believe many of the operators, you have got your IP address space from APNIC, I guess. So, so there are things that you might want to know exactly what's happening in the APNIC space. Yes, over to you.
Thank you. So as it's the last presentation for the day, I think I can take as much time as I can. No hurry, just joking. Okay, I'm Pubudu from APNIC, and I'll do a quick update about what APNIC is and what you can, how you can engage with APNIC, and what are the benefits that you can get by engaging with APNIC. Apart from being an internet number registry, we have other opportunities for you to engage. So for those who are new to APNIC, APNIC stands for Asia Pacific Network Information Center, and it's located in Brisbane, Australia. And we have a staff of about 80, and it started in 1998 from Australia, and before that it was in Japan. Yeah, and apart from APNIC, there are four other RIRs in the world: RIPE for Europe, AFRINIC for Africa, LKNOG for Latin America, ARIN for North America, and APNIC for Asia Pacific region. And in our region, there are 56 economies with 6,300 plus direct members as of September, all the way starting from Afghanistan until the Pacific Islands in the east. And if you take internet as an ecosystem, you can see there are internet users in the middle, and the content providers or providers in the middle section in the blue color. And what's around that is the enablers. And one of those enablers is the number registries, and that is where APNIC falls in the ecosystem of internet. And as a registry, we are getting involved with research, resource distribution, registration services, and so on. I'm not going to explain everything, but you can look it up on our website if you're interested. And where do IP numbers come from? The standards are developed at the IETF, and then it's passed on to IANA, which is a department of ICANN. And they are overseeing the global IP distribution, and IANA distributes these IP resources to 5 RIRs in the world. And from there onwards, they are given to local internet registries, which are LIRs, and they in turn gets to end users. And APNIC is a non-for-profit, membership-driven organization. What you see in blue color is the direct members. So at 2017, around this time, it's 6,300. And we also have some NIR members, which are national internet registries. There are 7 of them. So including them, we have close to 14,000 members, which we expect to pass 14,000 by the end of this year at the current rate. And this is a breakdown of what categories or industry types are APNIC members. Traditionally, hosting centers and internet service providers have been having a higher number of memberships. But over the recent years, banking, such as Bank of Ceylon, then Commercial Bank have joined APNIC. And then there are academic researchers such as Learn, and those are also joining EPINIC when they want to get robust internet connectivity or multi-homing requirements are rising when they get direct membership from EPINIC. And some resource delegations and state of the resources such as IPv4, v6, I'll show it to them. So these are the IPv4 delegations over the years starting for the last 10 years. As you can see, East Asia and South Asia has been dominating in the recent times because they are fastly developing. And because of such demand for IPv4, we only have about a 3.3% of a /8 remaining at the moment. And ARIN has already exhausted completely of fresh IP resources. And EPINIC state is as shown, 0.3. So these are the statistics or the trend lines for the 5 RIRs. And you can see that EPINIC will exhaust, if the trend is going to be the same, we'll run out of fresh IP addresses, so the last /8, probably around 2020, that is in 2.5 years' time. And with the exhaustion of IPv4 fresh addresses, what's happening is IPv4 transfers have been increasing over the time. This graph shows that transfers happening between EPINIC members in blue colors, that is within the Asia-Pacific region, and between RIRs, that is with, we have policies to transfer with RIPE and ARIN at the moment. So in orange color, what you see is the transfers happening between those two registries. And most of the time, the IPs are coming from ARIN region where there are large historical blocks. So most of the orange color would be the transfers coming into EPINIC from ARIN region. And to safeguard or to have some IP resources remaining for the newcomers, the policy proposals are being approved. The most significant one, which happened on EPINIC 44, is that the consensus was reached that the final /8 IP resources cannot be transferred to another party for 5 years. So at the moment, there's a moratorium for transfers, and we'll see if it gets through. And if you are interested in EPINIC policies, you can go to conference.epinic.net/44 for the conference number, and then policy to see the details of these policies. So IPv6 delegations, as you can see, when the IPv4 is exhausting, more people are trying to experiment with IPv6, and you can see there's a spike since 2014. And you can see East Asia has been dominating as they are experimenting more with, or they are ready to do more with IPv6. So IPv6 capability has increased. These statistics are taken from the Google advertisements. When you are watching YouTube, you might see Google advertisements popping up on your screen. So that is how EPINIC collects these statistics. And according to these statistics, the global IPv6 capability is about 16.5 when I took this screenshot. That is end of September 2017. So it's a promising sign that IPv6 is very sharply inclining, and probably by the next time we have an LKNOG, it would probably pass 30% at this rate. Let's see. And this is the South Asia IPv6 capability. In the orange color, we can see Sri Lanka, which is second place here. And as Asela said in the morning, that blue line belongs to India, and that huge spike, you can see that is from, because of Rio project of Reliance. And if you look at their AS number, you can see it's about 88% IPv6 capable. And this is some statistics from Sri Lanka. 15 members out of 17 that we have in Sri Lanka has already taken IPv6. It's pretty easy to get IPv6, as Asel also mentioned. If you have already got IPv4 resources, you can get IPv6 without further evaluation and at no additional cost. It's just one click. If you have an account and if you have IPv4, you can get it without any additional cost. And some other statistics are 13 members have already taken the final /8. And if you are planning to expand your networks, please get it. If you can demonstrate, you have to get it soon because it's exhausting. And 7 members have taken the recycles pool space. That is the second /22 that we give out. At the moment, there is a big waiting list for that. But if you put in your name now, someday it'll be given. And I will not talk about RPKI much, but in the next slide, 10 accounts in Sri Lanka has enabled RPKI engine out of 17, which is pretty good, and that is the highest in the South Asia. I'll show in one of the next slides. So these are the top AS numbers which have IPv6 capability. It's good to see Learn at the top as an education institute. They have experimented, and last year when we did a presentation, it was about 6%, and they have gone quite a way since then. And it's good to see the commercial companies have also joined, and you can see most of them have attempted IPv6 on their traffic. And what you see as the samples is the number of Google ads that were clicked to collect this data. It gives us kind of an understanding of the size of their network. And finally, this is the AS number delegations. Something interesting here is on the IPv4 and IPv6 graphs, you must have seen East Asia and South Asia were dominant. But in this graph, you can see Oceania is larger. That is Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. The reason is New Zealand and Australia prefer to have their own IP addresses for multi-homing. Even for a small company, they prefer to get IPs directly. So with the IPs, they originate their IP addresses from their own AS number. So the AS number demand is high in that region. But in Sri Lanka, you don't find small networks which have their own IP addresses. Instead, they prefer to go to their ISP to get IP addresses. So that is why the AS number count is not that high in our region. So we have a survey which is conducted every 2 years. And for the last survey, Sri Lanka was one of the focus group countries. And one of the, or actually the 3 of the top challenges faced by the network operators is related to security. So APNIC takes security seriously because whatever we get from the feedback is what we action on. So in security, we have Adli as our chief security specialist, and we are supporting the NOGs and then certs, and we have also hired a new security expert, Jamie Gillespie, so this is some information for you. And if you have any security concerns, or if you like to learn about how to engage with APNIC in regards to security, you can check on apnic.net/security. And in another aspect of security is RPKI, that is Resource Public Key Infrastructure, Route Origin Authorization Adoption. So I can show you that Sri Lanka is the highest in terms of ROA adoption in South Asia. So other activities that APNIC is engaged, we have a quite talented training team, and we have online training courses which are free of charge for anybody. It doesn't have to be an APNIC member. And then we have face-to-face workshops, tutorials, and technical outreach activities. Technical outreach is when you have a specific requirement, APNIC can become a consultant and visit your organizations if required. So that is a technical outreach. So for all of that information, you can go to training.apnic.net. And this is a new initiative taken in April 2017, APNIC Academy. This is for human capacity building. So at the moment, we have more than 1,000 registered and 350 persons have been certified. And we have some courses already available, and IPv4, v6 routing and security is coming up soon. So you are free to go and check these websites if you are interested. An APNIC Foundation is where funds are given for projects which have an ICT and community-based value. And in all of my slides, I have mentioned the website link so you can find more information. It's better than I explaining here. And we have a very active blog at APNIC, and you can be a guest blogger if you have any interesting topic. You can be a blogger and participate in the blogging. And at the moment, top 5 guest blogs, blogs have been IPv6 security training. So renowned authors from around the world have been guest bloggers, so you can go and get latest information from APNIC blog about what's happening around you and around the world. And this is a tool that APNIC has developed. That is where we take all of the statistics and present to you in a useful way. What I showed you before is the IPv6 capability, and what's shown below is called AS-Viz. And it shows how the AS numbers are interconnected with each other in a country. So if you go to that web page and select Sri Lanka, it will show you how each AS number is connected with each other. And if an AS number is in middle of that circle, that means it has high traffic, and as it moves to the end of the circle, that means it's an end user with lower traffic. And you can click each of the AS numbers and see how the connections are made. And apart from that, there are other tables with information which can be useful for any research or any information. And of course, there are conferences, and the next one is happening in Kathmandu, Nepal. So it's quite close to you, and hope that some of you will be attending there. And you can register at 2018apricot.net/register. And this might interest you. So Apricot and APNIC conferences have fellowships. So these are given in priority to developing countries or economies. And if an individual can demonstrate that he can share the knowledge that he gets in these conferences back in his community, those are the people who gets priority in the selection. And last year we gave about 50 fellowships to Taichung, Taiwan, and 5 of them were from Sri Lanka. And at the moment, applications are open until the 30th of October. So if you have any interest to be a fellow, please submit your applications now. And later we have APNIC 46 coming up in New Caledonia, end of 2018, and it moves to Korea in 2019. You might wonder what is the difference between APNIC 46 and Apricot 2019. The names are different. So one is a standalone APNIC conference, and the other one is in conjunction with Apricot. That is why the 2 names. So you can stay in touch by Twitter. All the social media is there. So keep in touch to get all the latest information. And if you have any feedback, you can provide, because APNIC usually greatly values your feedback, and that is how we plan the future or have any future plans. So big thanks from the entire APNIC staff. So that concludes my presentation, and if you have any questions, you can ask me now or during the tea break, or you can email me. Any questions?
Any questions for Fubudu? I hope you have, especially from operators' point of view. How many of you have got IPv6 from APNIC? I think in the morning he mentioned about how easy it is to get IPv6 as well. And APNIC also does a lot of capacity building and training as well, I think, as Pubudu covered. So anyone, any questions?
What is ROA?
Okay, what is ROA? Good question.
Not many people know what ROA is.
Sorry?
Not many people know what ROA is, I think.
ROA.
Yeah.
Okay, I can explain a little bit. ROA stands for Route Origin Authorization. So that basically means you are allowing your IP addresses to be announced through AS number, which is again authorized by you. So this is a measure taken to prevent any accidental or intentional route hijacking. So there are quite a lot of incidents. The most famous one I can quote is YouTube hijacking by Pakistan AS number. So that would have been prevented or could have been prevented if ROA was in place and the validators were in place. Yeah, that is about it. And if you have any questions about that, I can explain in detail if you ask me. So more information is available again at apnic.net/ROA.
I think based on Pubudu's statistics, I saw almost like 90% of the operators here, they have created ROAs.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, that's good. Any other comments? Okay, if not, let's give a big hand to Pubudu. Thank you very much. Okay, and let us also invite actually Dr. Shanta Fernando again to give the plaque to our speakers. So, who is? Huh? Yeah. So, Najib, how many plaques are left? Is only? We have Srimal, right? Yes. Srimal? Yes. Okay. And we have Pubudu. Okay, Dr. Shanta, thank you very much. Okay, so we are almost into the last item of the conference, and now before we do the last winding up things, are there any questions? Actually, we also have a little short time for any open mic. So if you have any feedback or if you have any anything to ask or anything about the conference or any feedback or any comments, this is the time now. Anyone? I know it's a long session, but we had late lunch, big lunch, so I hope it was very good. We didn't see anyone having difficult times after lunch, after big lunch. So which means I hope the discussion, especially the panel discussion, was very very good and very productive. Any feedback? Any questions? From our side, of course, this is, as I said in the morning, this is the first time that we have done a network operators group event, LKNOG event in Sri Lanka. We have had a few SANOG events, South Asia Network Operators Group events. Of course, SANOG events are much bigger than this. It would go for like 10 days or so. But we are very small. We're just starting now. It's just a one-day event. And eventually, hopefully, we can evolve as well to you know, to have or to provide more contents and so on in the future. We want to give some more hands-on workshops. We want to give some more more discussions. In fact, actually, we had some more speakers as well, but unfortunately, we could not fit everyone into one single day. So that's why we were in a sort of, you know, tight situation in terms of the timing as well. But hopefully, you know, we can provide a better program in the future events, but we did all these things thanks to some very special people or very special organizations who are our sponsors. So without our sponsors, we couldn't have done any of these things. And I should really thank them, especially, you know, to get the sponsorship in very small time frame. Because as again I said in the morning, you know, we all started getting the things together only within less than 1 month ago. So within that short time, we had to actually, you know, book these hotels, all the other logistics related things, getting our website up, and getting all the committee, you know, volunteers get sorted out, and everything. So. And also we are all scattered because, you know, all the committee members, we are not in one place, even in Sri Lanka. Some are in Colombo, some are in Kandy, and there are some overseas people as well. So we all had to, you know, have all these discussions, and we had plenty of remote calls, late nights, time zones. So it was all not very easy things and a lot of challenging things. So, but thanks to a lot of this hard work put by, of course, the committee, plus the support, the sponsorship given by all those valuable sponsors that helped us to put together this event. So from that point, you know, we really want to thank our sponsors, especially, you know, for all that great work they have done. We have an appreciation for our sponsors, and we want to give some sponsor tokens, the plaques for our sponsors. So let me actually call our principal sponsor, that is Parakum Technologies, and we want to have a representative from Parakum Technologies to receive our plaque. And so Parakum Technologies, they were our principal sponsors, and so Dr. Ajit and his team, they have provided all that great support, and thank you very much again. Then we have our one of the very important supporting partners, so which is Learn. So again, without Learn support, especially, you know, some of the committee members, as you could see, Rajiva, Tilina, they work for Learn as well. So they did a lot of work, especially, you know, they had done a lot of logistics, arranging things. So without that support, especially even that support given by Learn, human resource capacity, you know, from the human resource side, as well as even the sponsorships as well. So with all that, we really thank Learn, the Lanka Education and Research Network, for all their support, and also they have coordinated with a number of network operators in various parts in Sri Lanka universities. So we have had some of the network operators, the key network operators of those universities coming into this conference as well. So they have coordinated this, all these activities. And thanks very much for Learn for all that support. And thank you, Dr. Roshan, for providing everything. And okay, then actually, of course, we have a couple of international sponsors. Maybe our team members should also actually, rather than instead of me, maybe you should also give away some of these tokens. We have APNIC. Of course, you know, APNIC has been always a great supporter of NOGs in many countries, regional NOGs and so on. So APNIC has been always supportive from the very beginning. In fact, actually some of the early discussions about this LKNOG happened during the APNIC meeting, which was held in Colombo last year. So, so APNIC has been always supportive, and they have provided the sponsorships and all their support capacity, and sending Pubudu with all these. Some of you must have got some very nice souvenirs as well. So thanks APNIC for all that support.
Yeah, now the Champika from ICANN, actually, he's actually the key person behind all the organizing, and we have arranged so many calls in different time zone, and sometimes the meeting drags 7 a.m., 9 a.m. in our time zone, and his time zone it's dragged till 5 a.m. from the middle of the night. So sometimes he traveling in the airports, he just join the calls to arrange things. I would really like to thank the ICANN and Champika who really help throughout this event success. He's one of the key person here. So I would like to Siam, to present the token. Yeah, Champika, you can go on.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Then we also have .lk registry. So .lk registry also actually helped us in many ways. Professor Gihan was always an advisory, and so he had given lots of, he has been supportive in many ways. He offered us the .lk domain as well. As you know, we have LKNOG.lk as well. So he was very supportive in all that. And of course, the financial sponsorships as well. So we really thank .lk for all that. In case if Professor Gihan has left, but anyone else from .lk here? Okay. Thank you very much for all your support, and they are our gold sponsors. All right. Yeah. Okay. Then we have, of course, another very important supporter, which is Sri Lanka Telecom. So Sri Lanka Telecom provided us all this connectivity. You connected to the network today, the Wi-Fi, even with IPv6 as well. So it was all provided by SLT, and also another important thing is that they broadcasted this through the POTV as well, so we could use this even in the future. So all the recordings and things like that. So even if you want to go back and listen to some of the discussions that happened and so on, feel free to do that. So all that support came through SLT actually, yeah. And thanks very much for Asel, and of course for his time and everything. He has been very important committee member for us as well. Thanks very much, Asel and SLT.
Yeah, I would like to invite DGM ISP Indunil Vanasinghe to take the trophy for us. And you can watch the Rewind TV, Channel 20, Event TV, and watch this event back and forth again.
Okay, Tilna, thank you. And also, finally, another important supporter of us, that is the ISOC chapter, ISOC Sri Lanka chapter. Again, they were your face in the morning. You know, they handle all the registrations, they handle all the logistics related to the registrations, handling, you know, they even call the participants and confirmations and all that. And there were 4 support staff we received from ISOC LK, especially Sagarika has been doing a lot of coordination. Sagarika is the ISOC president, ISOC LK president. And she has been another very important supporter for us as well. And with her, all that support plus the ISOC LK support, you know, we managed to do especially all the logistics related things with regard to that event. I told you in the morning as well, we didn't hire any events management company and so on, because, you know, we did everything by ourselves, by the team. So with that regard, again, thanks very much for ISOC LK chapter and Sagarika or any other representative. We want to thank you, Srimal. Okay, thank you. And again, finally, you know, thanks very much for all those sponsors. And I repeated this a few times because, frankly, without them, we wouldn't have done this event. And also, most importantly, even we offered this complimentary. That is because, as you could see, you could come complimentary and go through this whole conference. So it was a great achievement even for us. So thanks very much. And also, finally, Yeah, I'm going to give that now. Yeah. Finally, also, actually, you have seen that our committee members, in fact, actually, our committee members were some of the speakers as well during the sessions today. And but also, there are some other committee members who did not speak, but they have been very active in the background. So I also want to call them for all that support that they have provided. So they get their deserved recognition. So let's call Sagarika. Okay. You can give this. Yeah. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, then we have Ziam. So Ziam, again, you know, he is a very busy man, and so he has been doing a lot of things, running around and talking to some of our very important panel members, speakers, and doing some of the quite useful coordination work as well. So without Ziam's support, in fact, actually he has been helpful in many ways, even making all these plaques and doing all that hard work. Yes, thanks very much, Ziam, for all that help. Then we have, oh, of course, yeah, we'll keep the best for the last. Right? So, I think we have covered everyone, right? Still in, yeah. Okay, so let's call Rajiva. Yes, I mean he single-handedly handled many things actually. All the way starting from negotiating with the hotels, finding the places, and coordinating with lots of other parties, the backdrops, and even actually, especially even providing remote call support as well, that facilities and all that. So without Rajiva's help, with all that coordination work, we really wouldn't have done much. So frankly, you know, thanks very much, Rajiva, for all your support. Thank you.